Alright, so yes, in the beginning, for example, and I had already noticed that when I had seen the beginning scene, that fight scene, when I upon YouTube back in the day, when I was 4 and 10, 5 and 10, and it does show a lot of characters just in their sheds. And to have that on the bosom, to have that, what's it called, bosom tab, which was not invented before, well, at least it did not come into fashion before the early 1860s, I would say. And so perhaps some avant-gardist, ultra-fashionable, ultra-modern, wealthy fellow of Chicago or whatever might have supported them before in mid-late 1850s. Surely not slum Irish immigrants all the way back in 1846. That is simply a mistake. Also, the top hats, more importantly, the top hats are also very much seen as per the rival gangs of the natives. And the top hats are very prominently seen, the tall top hats, well, such shapes, or for example, Bill the Butcher's top hat in the beginning did not exist back in 1846. In fact, that hat that he wears in the beginning with a blue band, large white blue hat band, is or was for sale, but one can still see the ad, and also another one he wears in the film later on when he's reintroduced back in 1863, another brown top hat that has brown hat band. Both, well, especially the other one, the one with the brown band. When I first saw the pic on the internet, I had simply typed, I think, stovepipe top hat upon the images section of Google, and I landed upon that hat, and I first thought that this was an original, and I thought, damn, blimey, how well preserved it is, and it is especially rare for it is so well preserved, and brown color is more rare. And then I clicked on the image, and I still believed it to be an original, and I saw written below, Bill the Butcher's top hat, from the 2002 movie Gangs of New York as well, by Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis, this brilliant actor, is the fellow playing Bill the Butcher, one of the antagonists of the film. So, this hat I then checked was apparently, I think it was handmade in Italy, where they filmed the film, by a traditional hat maker that used traditional techniques. Obviously, I doubt they would have used mercury like they would have back then, but this can't really show on camera or even in real life. But otherwise, it was made in the same manner in fur, using beaver fur. Now, I'm vegan, so I'm not saying it is good to use modern fur. That is the reason for which I only use items in ideal originals, but when I can't find originals, I take things that are still second-hand. But ethics apart, the hat looks superb for an 1860s hat, and yet it does look a tad modern for the 1863, but it would have existed. Only I am in doubt that all his hats would have looked that modern for a character who is from the working class and from slum. But now, all the way back in 1846 is just impossible. Even had it been the most modern person on earth, it would be impossible still. And so, for a character who is, at that time, he's supposed to be relatively poor, I suppose, and from a slum, he was brought up in an orphanage, as later on says in the film. So, and it is just impossible. And so now other characters are wearing similar top hats. Some of them rewatching the film. I have the film in front of me on my laptop. I have, I did put the scene. Yes, one sec.
Bitches and a handful of ragtags.
This is Bill the Butcher talking. So we're being introduced to Bill the Butcher. This is the scene set in the snow. All the natives are all wearing a top hat, unlike the Irish who are not wearing top hats, and so to some extent it is harder to tell that they look inaccurate. But the natives are very easy by the top hat and blazers, which are very inaccurate, especially in case of the blazers. So yes, there I pause. I see all the characters of the natives, they are all wearing top hats of differing styles, and some are sort of alright for different reasons. Obviously for a film like that, as I already said, they would not have used any originals, and in fact, not only that, they would not even have, they would not even like me, I do not just right now, what I'm wearing, nothing is an original right now in this outfit, but it is more or less old and all recycled things I got second hand, except for the waistcoat, which was a gift once I turned 3 and 10th, 13 years ago. And the bow tie, but the bow tie was repaired, so everything is second hand. For a movie like that, 99% of all the clothes is worn, and even the shoes and boots, even for the tiny extras that one sees at the very back and barely pays attention to, even for those people, everything was made for that precise movie. But I actually disagree with that method of proceeding. There are other ways they could have done that by trying to have originals with these things that had been done for other movies, and so economize both energy, time, and even money, and even have some things that might have looked more accurate or more authentic to some degrees. But never mind, that is how they did it. They created the costumes. So what I see that in the top hats is I'm going to first of all, I'm going to judge Bill the Butcher. His coat, he has a long, purposefully distressed overcoat or frock coat. It seems to be made out of leather. I like that coat. It looks accurate. On the movie, again, I'm sure that if I purchased it and had it in front of me right now, how an expert like me, an amateur expert, will be able to tell so many things from it which are inaccurate. Mostly the fact that I reckon, to get in time, obviously to have very little time and have to make all those costumes, they do a lot of machine stitching. Most of it is machine done. Probably most costumes are entirely machine stitched. But for the main characters, these billboard, big blockbuster actors like Daniel Day-Lewis was back then, they probably do a lot of handwork, so some pieces might be entirely hand-sewn. I doubt that. But at least for the coat like that, I reckon the buttonholes might be hand-sewn. The finishing touches might be hand-done with an actual person doing it by hand. Is that the costumist who was very famous? I forgot her bloody name. Is he the one even working with the machine? No, obviously not, but to hire other hands, a lot of hundreds of people will do the costumes, and yeah, some work might be done by hand, and it's better than nothing. So obviously if I had a piece in front of me, this would not be really identical to an original. First off, I dubbed the cloth but dyed using the techniques they had back then. They already in 1846 was the year they invented acinin dye, which was a chemical chromium-based dye using arsenic, which obviously has been made illegal and has really stopped being used anywhere in the world since the 1950s or at least early 60s, or 60 years ago, 70 years ago. So none of those have been dyed with arsenic. Besides, all the characters, that coat is purposefully meant to look distressed. We're meant to believe that he probably had it for a long time, because he, again, at the beginning of the movie, he is not rich, and so he would probably have had that coat for a long time, and acinin dyed had just been created, so it is not meant to be acinin dyed. But they're already chemical dyes using chemical chromium base. Now if you want to search how things are dyed, basically there are thousands and billions of minutes to dye a single piece of cloth, whether it be a leather used for a heavy sturdy working boot, or a very thin polyester like my polyester satin bow tie that I'm right now wearing. They can be done a billion different ways because there are always subcategories. So basically, none of these garments, even the fur and the top hats or whatever, would have been dyed exactly like they would have done it for that precise context. Again, the place, the people, different types of